Hey there, all you sexy tiki cats and kittens. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Mug. We have dove inside the mug, and now we're coming out. Now we're breaching the mug. That was weird. That's weird. Don't. Anyway, if you guys caught the episode of How To on the Sazerac, yes, I am indeed drinking the same drink. This is why I'm wearing the same clothes. I don't just normally have a closet full of black t-shirts, although I do have like 5 of these same t-shirts. When you find a t-shirt that fits, you got to get a bunch of them because, like, everything changes so much, right? Everything you go to I'm gonna bust myself out here, but because I like things to be a little bit more fitted, I have to shop at the mall stores, right? Especially to find stuff in my size. So I'm not the kind of person, I'm not the kind of size that can just go pick something off the shelf at Walmart. It's not going to fit me. Not that I wouldn't. I would like to pay a lot less, but it's not going to fit me. So Target has some nice stuff. But so usually Gap, American Eagle, I got to shop there so that I can find stuff that fits in either that or stepping it up to the the custom stuff, which I can't afford to shop there on a regular basis. But one or two things from a high-end shop to like round out the wardrobe. But why are we talking about clothes? Why are we talking about t-shirts on Pod Tiki? I'm drinking a Sazerac. Why am I drinking a Sazerac on a Tiki podcast? What is going on today? So I didn't really want to do 2 non-Tiki drinks in a row. I just did the Moscow Mule last month. But okay, so it's always kind of weird how I pick what drink I want to do. There's lots of different ways I do it. This time, it was really just I wanted to try this drink. Like, I wanted to get behind the story of it. I wanted to try the flavors of it while I was doing the research on it and kind of looking at it. I know I missed the February, like, the New Orleans tie-in with Mardi Gras and all that. But I love New Orleans drink, Hurricane, Bouquet. And the Sazerac just kind of like seemed like, it's the oldest cocktail, or at least they say it is. Go listen to the episode. It's not really, but it's the oldest one we have on the books that has a recipe to it. It's but it's not necessarily the oldest cocktail because there were things being called cocktails before that just weren't written down. But honestly, anything with water, sugar, bitters, and spirit is a cocktail. So, you got to imagine early old fashions were probably around way before anything else. And really, the Sazerac is just an old fashioned that's trying too hard. So, if you make it with the rye, if you make it with brandy, it's a fucking immaculate. It's an immaculate. It's an immaculate libation. So, anyway, getting into this episode, this is the first one that really kind of freaked me out. Like, I almost didn't want to do it because there was so much involved in it. There was such a timeline. We talk about the history of the word cocktail, the history of the first cocktail, and that's before we even get into the idea of the Sazerac and how it came about, the dynamic between the New Orleans and Civil. I mean, we're talking about a cocktail that was being served as this drink during the Civil War era. Like the first mention of a cocktail was written down and called a cocktail in 1806. Okay, it was like 20 years before that was the Revolution, the American Revolution, right? So Alexander Hamilton was shot by Aaron Burr 2 years before the paper says something about a cocktail. So we're talking about like that era. And then the Sazerac literally in the 1850s is mentioned as a cocktail. So well, I guess it's not mentioned as a cocktail to the 1890s, but we know it was being made in the 1850s. So you're talking 10 years before the Civil War. We're making a drink called, I gotta keep my laptop going. We're making a drink that had the same ingredients as a Sazerac in it. So, I mean, I make this joke in the episode, but we're talking like Abraham Lincoln could have been sitting around with Mary Todd and sipping on Sazeracs, like. So, just that in itself, the prodigiousness, the preponderance of this episode, the weight of it, like, how do I tackle it? Like, I was really intimidated by it at first, and I put it off for a while, and when I actually sat down and, like, just went through the timeline, it might not be the funniest episode. I tried to throw some jokes in there, but there was a lot of information to cram in, and I really felt like it was more of an essay. But I tried to make it my style. You guys know how I do. So I feel like I did a pretty good job. I'm pretty proud of it. I think I managed to punch it up enough to make it entertaining, and I'm really excited to see what you guys think. Because even if you don't like me and you don't like what I do, this is a great episode to jump in and learn about cocktail culture, because we go over a lot of stuff. I would like to do more episodes like this, although they don't fit into the tiki genre. But then again, like, this is the stuff that made the tiki genre. Like, this is the stuff that, like, you wouldn't have these great cocktails that Don the Beachcomber created if there wasn't this culture of these, pre and post prohibition speakeasy style cocktails. It's all inherent. It's all builds on each other the same way that that music today is built on the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, and blues, and speaking of the Gulf South, the blues, and jazz, it's just, it all kind of builds on each other, and it's, in fact, I didn't say this in the podcast, but now that I made that analogy, this is a jazzy cocktail. It tastes kind of jazzy. It tastes kind of raw, but like at the same time, the bitter bite of rye with the smooth kind of coolness of anise from the herb saint. Talk about in the podcast how it's not my favorite version of the drink. I like the brandy version better. I'm not a big fan of the half and half. It doesn't do it for me. But I don't want to give too much away because I want people to go back and listen to the episode. I don't know too much more about that I can go over about the cocktail, because, like, I really picked it just because it looked interesting. Like, I wanted to grab something that really stuck out to me, and I promise we're getting back to tiki next time. In fact, I got some ideas for stuff I want to look back on, and maybe redo some classics, but also kind of move forward in a way. I'm not changing anything. One of the biggest things I can't stand about podcasts or entertaining is when you finally get into liking something and get in the flow of it, and they're like, "We want to change it up," we're going in a new direction. Look, one thing you never have to worry about me. I never change direction. I am lazy when it comes to I follow Waze and maps, like, to tell me to go everywhere. My wife hates it, but I'm not. You never have to worry about me, at least no time soon, coming in. Now, if you guys give me some input about things you want me to change to make the show better, then I will definitely take that into consideration and probably do it, because I am susceptible to opinions. But constructive criticism, I don't mind. But I'm never gonna be the one that's like, you know what, we're gonna change direction and try something new. Like, we're just getting off the ground, guys. Don't worry, we're not changing anything. If there's some way to make it better, I will add to what's already here. But I like what we do, sort of. I like this. If there's anything that's gonna change, I kind of want more production on maybe some, like, an intro and outro, things like that. I know I've been talking about it. Even something like this. I want to do more video stuff, go live with you guys. Which leads me to the last thing I wanted to talk about was, I love all the interaction I'm getting, especially on social media. I don't check the comments too much on, like, iTunes and Spotify. I should probably do that more. But I love interaction on the website, or on the social media. Facebook, Instagram, I try to always reply, at least have a small conversation with you guys. I got time. Look, if we ever come to a point where I get too hoity-toity, where I can't converse with the fans of the show, then call me on it, please. Because one of the things I hate is when people get too get tired of the fans. I'm never going to get tired because I enjoy talking to you guys. And I don't even like saying fans. I feel like we're kind of on this journey together. I just happen to be the guy with the camera, which, actually doesn't even make sense. We all have cameras. And it's so easy to do a podcast now, too. We all have recorders on our phone, too. So there's really nothing special about me, except I sit down in front of the laptop and look at it and do the research, which in the books that I already read. So I'm not that special. But I do enjoy the people that do that reach out to me for advice on cocktails and stuff like that. I am not a bartender. I am a passionate. I would call myself an aficionado. I'm not a professional in any way, but I do a lot of research for a layman, and I read all the books. I don't travel around the country as much as I would like to like hit all the different bars and things like and speaking engagements. I would like to do that a lot more. Believe me, I really would. And I had some stuff planned for this summer, but some other stuff came up. But I try to do as much of that as I can when I get the opportunity. I'm traveling around for other things. I like to pop into the tiki bars around town. I gotta make a couple of special trips. I know I gotta get to more places. I gotta get to more of these classic places. I know, but that does not. My lack of ability to travel as much as I would like to does not preclude my passion from because I love this shit. I love this shit. I love tiki. I love the whole idea of it. I don't care if it's kitschy. I don't care if it's any kind of tiki you want. Just went to a new tiki bar opened up here on the east side of Nashville called Hubba Hubba Tiki Tonk. I'll give them a shout out. It's like a rock and roll horror sort of tiki bar. It's not even. It's like a tiki dive bar. Imagine a dive bar with a tiki theme. It's freaking. It's cool. It's cool in its own right. I love all that stuff. I love all versions of it. I mean, last year I went to Trader Vic's. That's like the mecca for me. I think that was the Trader Vic's in Atlanta. I think is like one of the coolest just places in general, even if you're not into tiki. Around here in Nashville we have Chopper. We have another bar in town that does not like to be called tiki, but it's got a very retro tropical vibe. That's Pearl Diver. I would check them out if you're ever in town. They make incredible drinks, and the staff is super friendly, and food is good. There's all kinds of stuff happening. Just went to Aku Aku down in Orlando last time I was down there. Suffering Bastard in Sanford is amazing. So I do get to make it out, but I would like to do that a lot more. I'm rambling now. I'm sorry. I'm sipping on this Sazerac. Full disclosure, I had a mojito earlier too, so. Anyway, it's probably time to go back inside the mug. I'm getting a little too crazy. There's nothing. I guess the gist of that was that I really enjoy the interaction I get with you guys. If I may digress for a second, I bring it back. To recapitulate, I will say thank you. I really am excited about this episode. I love talking to all you guys. I want to hear how you feel about this. I want to keep on having discussions with you. I said earlier that I get advice. People ask me advice for cocktails. That was the wrong word. I don't give advice. I give my opinion and based on my experience. And I guess technically that's advice, but I'm not like above anybody. I just want to I've tried a lot of things. I've researched a lot. I've traveled a fair amount, and in my past, and I've seen things. I've gotten to be very fortunate to see the masters make things in the place where those things come from, when it comes to tropical drinks and things like that. So I have experience, and this sounds bad when you say it like this out of context, but generally I can give advice on drinking because I drink a lot. But someone's gonna cut that and send it to my wife for evidence. But no, I can give advice, I suppose, but at the end of the day, it's all just opinion. Everybody that's giving advice is an opinion, right? There are people who definitely, there are people who are closer to a thing and more learned on it, but they have more info. They have their their view on the subject is wider, but they are still giving an opinion. When you go to a priest, he is giving you his opinion on things. He is, and that's not blasphemous. I am a God-fearing Catholic. I'm just saying, a good priest will tell you they're not talking to God. They're giving you their interpretation, and this is my interpretation of everything that I've taken from this genre that we all love so much. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. And yes, if you're wondering, yeah, I guess I did just relate cocktails to religion. So they're called spirits. Just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, before I start getting myself in any more political trouble, incorrect trouble, it's time for us to get back in the mug. I mean, we've been out too long. In fact, yeah, they're telling me in my ear that we've overstayed our welcome outside the mug. We have to get back inside the mug. So, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to cut us short, but we've been, I'm gonna need you to, come on, yeah, there, yeah.